test, check, check, check. And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What's today's date, Nigel? Today is January 14th, 2025. Like the poet Future once said, what a time to be alive. What's good with you, family? Y'all know the drill. Let me know what city y'all chiming in from. Today we're going to talk about one, how to get $250,000 for business funding, how to get it fast. But while we're talking about that, I have a very serious question for you all. So whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Instagram, did the life you planned as you were growing up, are you living that life right now? I see we got Atlanta in the house. We got Harrisburg. We got Orlando. Houston is always in the building. See, today, not only I'm going to show you how to get the money from the banks. Again, all this week, all this month, all this year, no more gatekeeping. But while we're learning how to get this capital, I want to ask you a very serious question. New York is in the house. The life you planned while you were growing up, are you living that life? I can remember as a kid, I used to dream about living in a certain neighborhood. I used to dream about driving a certain type of car, having, I had this fantasy of how I wanted my life to look. I actually thought I wanted to go to the NBA when I was a kid. Like I loved playing basketball. I wanted to go to the NBA, and that's why I started teaching free classes, no gatekeeping. Absolutely. And so when I noticed I was not going to be 6'5", my life derailed. My goals derailed very quickly. Once I got to about my junior year in high school and I saw I wasn't going to be 6'5", all my goals got derailed. Then in my 20s, I thought I was going to be, we have aspirations in our 20s. Man, we're going to get it. We're going to do this. You got all your friends around you and all your buddies and you're talking all of these big goals and dreams until you look around and find out you're the only one with ambition. See, I'm going to show you how to get the money. That's the easiest part. As a matter of fact, I just actually left a meeting with one of my bankers, and I'm going to tell you how laxed the criterias have gotten from the banks. He shared with me some inside data on how lax the banks have gotten. They want to give the money away. But in order to get the money, you're going to have to make some changes internally, because some people don't even feel they deserve to get that type of money from the banks. So ask yourself, are you living the life that you planned? Are you living the life that you planned? See, no money, no business. Here's why entrepreneurs need funding. They're very laxed. Now, you can't go in there with a 400 credit score, but the banks are very laxed right now. I have a bank where as long as you have a 700 credit score and an LLC that's 2 years old, it's an automatic $125,000. If you have a 700 credit score and an LLC that's 2 years old, automatic $125,000. They're going to give you a business credit card in the amount of $25,000 and a business line of credit for $100,000, guaranteed. As a matter of fact, everybody who joins my live on Thursday is going to get access to all of these, my bank partners. I'm not going to give every last one on my way here today. It got to be some level of exchange. It has to be some level of exchange. See, a lot of entrepreneurs, no money, no business. If you have no money, your business is going to be difficult to grow. Entrepreneurs, you need funding. If you want to start, scale, grow, if you have zero funding, it's going to be very difficult. See, the reality of starting without money financially will stress you out. How many people have ever been stressed out financially as a business owner? How many people have been financially stressed out just as an individual? Because see, one of the things that I'm learning, or that I've learned, when you lack money, usually you have an attitude. When you lack money, you will have an attitude. I tell people all the time, people will treat you based upon where they are in their life financially. Not saying it's right or wrong, but people will treat you based on where they are in their life financially. It's no coincidence why a lot of marriages end in divorce due to a lack of finances. One of the partners is going to start acting up when there's money problems. This is why I say often in business and anyone who aspires to be a successful entrepreneur, if you're not willing to pivot, if you're not willing to change at a drop of a dime, if you aren't willing to do what it is you have to do to get access to the funding, if you aren't willing to position yourself, everybody type the word position in the chat, you have zero chance of making it. I know we're used to being coddled and lied to and people telling us it's going to be all right. When it comes to being an entrepreneur, it's not. 2025 is the year that you need to come to the grips of real reality, not alt reality. See, the alt reality is aren't you tired of going out there thinking that you're going to get $100,000 worth of funding with bad credit? Aren't you tired of going to the banks, getting denied and bumping your head? Aren't you tired of the disappointment, the upsets, the all of the different challenges? See, even when you had aspirations of starting a business, I'm sure you thought that it would be easier than it is. I'm going to help you guys unpack some of that and really give you some groundwork. I'm going to also tell you, as of 2025, again, I just had a meeting with one of the top banking execs in one of the top banks in the country. And he said, Will, there are 3 things that banks are looking at now that people may not be aware of. I'm going to share those 3 things with you here today. It's bigger than just your credit score. Here's another fact that you may or may not know. Did you know that there's a difference between business funding and business bankable? There's a difference between business funding and being business bankable. How many people do not know the difference? Type me in the chat. If you do not know the difference between business funding and being business bankable, type me in the chat if you do not know the difference. There's actually a difference. There is actually a difference. See, this year, I'm going to be showing people how to get up to $1 million in business funding. I'm going to be showing people how to get up to $1 million in business funding. But in order to get up to $1 million in business funding, you're going to have to be business bankable. You're going to have to be business bankable. If you are not business bankable, you will not be able to get up to $1 million in business funding. That's what I'm showing people all 2025. That's all I'm going to show people. Let me tell you what being business bankable is. Being business bankable, first of all, one of the business reporting agencies, one of the business credit reporting agencies is FICO SBSS. Somebody type that in the chat. FICO SBSS. FICO SBSS. FICO SBSS. Did you know that a lot of banks will pull your FICO SBSS? And the FICO SBSS credit score ranges from 0 to 300, requiring a minimum score of at least a 160. Do you even know what it takes or what they calculate to have a 160 score? For most people, they've never even heard of that. So if you don't have a FICO SBSS, if you don't have a means to be able to calculate or figure out what you need to get a 160 FICO SBSS, how will you ever become business bankable? Here's the other thing. When you're business bankable, your money is cheaper. When you are business bankable, your money is cheaper. It's the cheapest money you can get from the banks. It's not just it's actually cheaper than 0% interest credit cards. Because the 0% interest credit cards, the 0% runs out. Now, it's still the cheapest money. Believe it or not, even at 20%, that's the cheapest money. That's still the cheapest money you can get from the banks. And I'll prove it to you. Is anybody familiar with the MCA loan? Anybody on here familiar with what they call merchant cash advance loans? These are basically payday loans for your business. Brutally expensive. Most businesses go bankrupt borrowing money on MCA terms. Very short-termed. Average interest rate is 79%. They pull the cash from your bank account every single day. Most businesses will go bankrupt. See, the reality of starting without money will financially stress you out and it will burn you out. How many entrepreneurs on here have experienced financial fatigue? Type the number 1 in the chat. Who've experienced financial fatigue? Chicago, what up? Has anybody ever experienced financial fatigue? If so, type the number 1 in the chat. I'm going to help you to overcome that here today. And then Thursday, you're going to actually meet me on my free webinar. See, business funding is a game changer. I don't think a lot of people really understand that business funding is such a game changer. And let me give you an example. So, let's say you have a brand new business. Okay, you have a brand new business. And you want to, and I put a video up on social media yesterday talking about how another reason so many people experience business fatigue or business burnout or financial fatigue because they're not making money. See, when you're a brand new entrepreneur, when you're a brand new business, you usually make the bulk of your money up front. I call it the honeymoon phase of entrepreneurship. Every entrepreneur experiences the honeymoon phase. This is where all your friends will do business with you, your family members. Now, when I say all, not technically all, but this is when the people who actually know you will do business with you. They'll buy your clothes, they'll buy your shirts, they'll buy your books, they'll invest in your services that you offer. And usually most of them do it just to be able to support you. I call this the honeymoon phase of entrepreneurship. And then eventually you run out of family members. Eventually you run out of friends. Eventually you run out of classmates. Eventually you run out of people who are willing to buy from you just on the strength. And now you have to actually be able to run the real business. But ultimately, what ends up happening is now you're experiencing financial fatigue. You've ran out of money. And so now you actually have to pay for that marketing campaign. You have to pay for those Facebook ads. You got to pay to get your funnels built. You got to pay to build a real website. You have to pay somebody to make sure that your business is seen online. Yeah, they be looking for the hookup. Yeah, Nicole, some of them will ask for a hookup. But bottom line, eventually you run out of friends and family to sell to. I call it the honeymoon phase. And so now your monthly investment for your ads or whatever it is that you have to pay for so that people can find you online, let's say it's $3,000 a month. $3,000 to $5,000. Okay. Now, somebody type $3,000 to $5,000 in the chat. Let's say that's what it costs for you to run an effective marketing campaign. You're going to pay somebody to set everything up. So you're paying for your marketing budget $3,000 to $5,000 a month. Now, you're a brand new business. You're a brand new entrepreneur. You're not making a lot of money. And now you're trying to pull money from your personal budget that you have saved for your bills. So now this is where that financial fatigue and stress sets in, because you're trying to figure out how you're going to juggle entrepreneurship in real life because you have to physically take money from your business, from your personal savings account, money that you need to use to buy groceries, pay your car note, pay your rent or mortgage, pay for the kids' daycare. You're now pulling money from your personal savings account to put into your business. And if one thing goes wrong, you may potentially be out of business or out of a relationship. One thing. So now you get scared. You get what's called decision paralysis, which I'm gonna get to a little bit later. I speak to couples all the time who one doesn't even know what the other one is involved in, first of all, but then you're scared because you've already burnt the family savings 1,000,000 times over, and your spouse is tired of forgiving you because you spent all of the vacation money, the bill money, but yet you still got to figure out how to come up with $3,000 to $5,000. You don't know anybody who will let you borrow it. And you got to do a good marketing campaign for at least 3 months. So you're looking at anywhere between $9,000 to $15,000 that you need access to. First of all, ask yourself, and I want you to be truthful, how long would it take you to save $15,000? I want to see your answers in the chat. If you were to save up for your marketing budget for 90 days, based upon where your current financial circumstance is at right now, how long would it take you to save $15,000, which would cover 3 months of your marketing? If you make $20 an hour, 1 month of working 8 hours a day is $3,200. Now, keep in mind, what you make on your job is not all profit. You still have your regular bills. This is why so many entrepreneurs are stressed out. See, you can't calculate how much your job pays you because remember, your job still has to pay your regular bills. So how long would it take you to save $15,000 to have a marketing budget? Nicole Jackson said 1 year. Thank you, Nicole, for being transparent. Well, guess what? By the time you save that $15,000, that marketing strategy is no longer good. The game has changed. That's how quick information changes. That's how quick strategy changes. That's how quick the internet changes. We use AI now. So you can't even save fast enough to keep up for your business to get off the ground. This is what we call financial fatigue in business. So many small businesses and entrepreneurs experience this, but they stay open because they want to save face. They stay open because they don't want to look like they failed. They stay open because they say, this is my baby. I believe in it. I'm not giving up. And this is where stress comes into play. This is why we have 30-year-olds having strokes. This is why we have 30-year-olds having heart attacks. This is why we have 30-year-olds taking themselves out because of the financial stress, the demands of trying to keep up. So that's why I said at the top of this live, did your life turn out the way you planned it from a financial standpoint for all my entrepreneurs? But see, there's actually a solution to that, and I call it business funding. There's a real solution. See, if you all really knew the power of business funding, I talked about this yesterday where I said a 700 credit score is like a winning lottery ticket. Imagine, let me paint the picture. Imagine having a 700 credit score. You have an LLC, and you can walk into as many banks as you want. Now, here's your marketing budget. One credit card will cover your marketing budget. And did you know that $15,000 that is going to cost you to run that marketing budget for 90 days is only going to cost you about $100 a month? So now let me ask you a question. How much pressure would be relieved off of you if instead of trying to save $15,000, you only have to try to service enough clients to be able to pay $100 a month? Who would like that strategy and plan? Type 1 in the chat. Instead of trying to save up $15,000, and some of you said it will take you a year, some said 3 years, some said 6 months, some said they may probably never be able to save it just because you can't outsave life. Life happens every day, every month. And so instead of having financial fatigue and financial burnout, imagine now having a credit card, a business credit card. So it doesn't even report on your personal. You have that business credit card where now you can use that business credit card to cover your business expenses, and it only costs you 2% of the balance. So now that $15,000 will only cost you about $150 a month. I think every last one of you on here with a business can at least sell $150 worth of products or services. That's how business funding is a game changer. That's how business funding is a game changer. Did you all know that every single Fortune 500 company leverages debt? Did you know that most of the top 100 companies were started using credit cards? So now let me ask you all a question. What all do you know about business that they don't know? They're not trying to save up for 2 years to start their business. They're not trying to save up for 8 months just so they can pay for the LLC. They're not trying to save up for 3 years just so they can cover their marketing costs. Everybody type in the chat. They understand the power of leveraging credit. Type leveraging credit in the chat for me. They understand the power of leveraging credit. See, I had to learn the hard way back in 2010. From 2007 to 2010, I was working my nine to five job. TJ Focus said Apple leverages $250 billion. True story. What makes you think you know more than Apple? Most of you are watching this live on your Apple device. Wouldn't you want to follow it, what it is that they're doing? Even if you made an extra $2,500 a month. See, when I started my entrepreneurship journey in 2007, I kept trying to figure out, man, why is it that I'm unlucky as a business owner? What is it that's not working for me? I did everything. At least I thought so. I'm working hard. I'm praying. I'm being good to everybody. I'm saying please and thank you. Like being good to people and saying please, like there's still business concepts that we have to adhere to in order for your business to grow. And then I remember sitting down with one of my mentors at the time, and he said, Will, credit is the new dollar. And if you don't learn how to use that, you will never get to the levels or heights that you can get to. And I talked about this yesterday when I talked about understanding value and how the lowest form of value is implementation. And implementation is in the form of physical labor or manual labor. And so if the only way you make money is if you have to physically perform, meaning you got to swing a hammer, you got to type on your computer at work. If you have to physically work and trade 8 hours of your day for $20 an hour, $15 an hour, $30 an hour, you will always be capped. And there will not be enough hours you can work to be able to have enough money for your personal business, for your personal life, as well as your business, because you can only grow, you're capped at growing at an implementation standpoint. Yes, also to get past owning a job. Business funding is a game changer. Let me tell you how. So in 2007, I sat down with my mentor who said 8 hours. Shit, people doing 12 hours at least. Yeah, you ain't lying, Rico. I sat down with one of my mentors in 2010 and he said, Will, you need to learn how to leverage credit. Credit is going to become the new dollar. And so I remember the first round of credit that I was able to get, I got about $47,000. I didn't use it to go and buy clothes and go shopping. I didn't use it for that. I used it to invest into my marketing. I used it to invest into building my website. I used it to invest in the things that I needed to grow my actual business. And what I found out is that all I have to do is pay back the minimum. So what's the solution if one had bad credit, no money? You got to fix your credit, Yancel. If you have bad credit, you have to fix your credit. If anybody tell you you can get credit with bad credit, it's going to be so expensive that most of you can't afford it. You got to fix your credit. And if you would like help with that, send me a direct message. We can help you with that. I've been in this space for over 10 years helping people with credit. See, business funding was such a game changer for me because I can go out there and borrow $40,000, $50,000 for my business, and it will only cost me $500 a month against that $50,000. So all I had to do was calculate how many clients do I have to sell to make enough money to service the debt. So once you learn how to calculate basic math, this will mitigate your financial burnouts. But you got to be in position first. See, let me break some of the cycles down of understanding that financial burnout. See, when you don't have business funding and you're trying to run a business and you got to pay for everything yourself, guess what else you have to do? You got to do everything yourself. You got to be your own janitor. You have to be your marketing guy. You have to be your tax person. You have to do all of the things that you don't even know how to do. And so now you're spending more time on YouTube researching how to create a funnel. You're spending more time online researching how to file your taxes properly. You're now researching in putting more emphasis and hours and energy into things that are not income producing tasks. Everybody type in the chat, income producing task. You need to be focused on income producing tasks. But because you don't have business funding, you can't afford to pay to delegate, to pay somebody to do your marketing, to pay somebody to do your website. When I speak with a small business owner or entrepreneur, and I'm like, hey, do you have a website? And they're like, no, but I'm a go online to learn how to build it on my own. And I'm like, that's fine, but do you really want to spend 30 hours? You already work 8 hours a day on your job, and now you want to spend another 4 hours a day trying to build a website? You have no time to go sell any clients. How you gonna make any money? And so now you get wrapped up in this cycle, because now after you done spent 30 hours trying to build a website, now you're spending another 40 hours trying to figure out how to put it on Google. And now you're going to spend another 20 hours figuring out how to build a funnel. So now you just get caught up in this cycle, and it all stems because you don't have any money. No money, no business. What do I do when companies are denying me because they can't pull my TransUnion or Equifax? I feel stuck. They probably can't verify your address. If you have good credit, they probably can't verify your address. So you need to go get your address fixed. See, when you lack business funding, you got to juggle everything. Any entrepreneurs on here had to juggle and do everything? You can't make money if you're doing everything. You can't make money when you're doing everything. When somebody tells me, oh, I'm doing everything in my business, I know you're not making any money. Now, you're probably making enough just to, whet the appetite of being an entrepreneur, but it's not going to be substantial money because you're only making money from the stage of implementation. You can't grow in implementation. You don't have 4 arms. You don't have 2 bodies. You can't be in 2 places at once. This is why you feel stuck. This is why you're experiencing financial fatigue. This is why you're experiencing business burnout. Business funding is a game changer, ladies and gentlemen. And all I have to do is service the debt and pay the minimum until I have a big month. You mean I don't have to save up? I had a good friend of mine who about 7 years ago, he asked me to help him get some business funding, and we actually helped him get about $180,000 in probably about 6 to 8 months, because he had to clean his credit up and do some things like that. And he didn't realize how significant it was until he went to a family event, and he was telling me he had a talk with one of his aunts. And he was talking with his aunt about investing with him, and she told him no. And he said she told him no because she said, well, first they got on the topic of money, and she was like, oh yeah, I got, $200,000 in my 401k. And he said, and how long did it take you to save that 200,000? And she said, it took me 40 years, nephew. And then his mind was blown. He hurried up and got home and called me. He said, Will, I just spoke with one of my aunts who says she's been working for 45 years and she has $200,000 saved up in her 401k. That's like all the money she has. And you just showed me how to get $180,000 in 8 months. He said, this is why we can't compete in business. We don't know that game. He said, this is why we can't compete. It took her 45 years to tuck away $240,000 through her 401k. That has to last her another 40 years, which won't. But he was able to get $180,000 in credit in 8 months. Which plan would you prefer? Type in the chat. 45 years or 8 months? Which plan would you prefer to be on? 45 years or 8 months? Somebody let me know. Which plan would you prefer to play? 45 years or 8 months? See, there's psychological impacts when your money is tight. There's psychological impacts. You may not know it. I'll give you a few. One, you have increased anxiety. So I'm going to share something that's extremely unpopular. Some people aren't necessarily depressed. They're just broke. Let me say that again. Some people aren't, they're not depressed because of life. Some people are depressed because they're broke. That's called increased anxiety. It's increased anxiety because you don't know how money operates. Nobody taught us. We thought we were going to save money and then start our business. And then life happened. You thought you were going to save money and then start your business. Then you had to get the brakes fixed. Then your windshield went out. Then you got sick. Then you had to go to the hospital. Then you had to change your tire. Like life, you will never outsave life. I'm going to continue saying that. You will never outsave life. Ever. So some of the psychological impacts of financial struggle is anxiety. Sometimes it's not that you're depressed, you're just broke. You don't have any money. Another one, you get decision paralysis. I can always tell where somebody is at financially based upon how long it takes them to make a decision that makes sense. I remember in US millennials and Gen Zs don't have 45 years to waste. The world technology is moving too fast. TJ, focus. You hit the nail on the head. You will not be able to compete if you don't do something today. I remember in 2014, 15, this was around the time when I first started to get when I decided to look into investing and getting a personal trainer. Okay. Y'all go back and look at some of my pictures from 2014. You'll see why I needed a trainer. Look, I look like the Michelin Man on some of them pictures. I had to tell Daniel and Nigel to scrub the internet. Look, I had to scrub the internet for some of them pictures. And so I remember going to have a consultation with this trainer. And the trainer was going over the pricing. And he said, well, it's going to be X amount for this time. And if you want this number of lessons, it's this and this and that and that. And when he finished, he said, so which one do you want to go with? And I said, let me think about it. And he said, you need to think about your health. You need to think about if your health is of value. And he said, no offense, but look at you. Oh, he was tough. See, I have thick skin. I don't get offended easily. But he said, look at you. You you saying you need to think about your health. See that we need to start looking at our lives invertedly and ask ourselves, do you have the are you in a position to think about fixing your credit, or do you need to fix your credit? Are you in a position to think about, do you need to invest to learn how to get funding, or does your business need funding today? Often ask people, you've tried it your way over the past 10 years and it hasn't worked. What do you need to think about? You need to think about fixing your credit. You need to think about, you said you wanted to do real estate and you failed many, many years. And you need to think about doing it the right way. Remember, you walked into my shop. Like I walked into his gym and I'm sitting there questioning. So it's like when I'm sitting with clients, sometimes I'm like, hold on, you called me. Why are you questioning if I can help you or not? You see my results. You see the track record. You've seen the level of consistency. As a matter of fact, you just told me that some of the things you learned from me from free has worked. Imagine what you will get when you actually learn some real stuff. But you still got to think about it. Oh, you're having decision paralysis because you're in a financial struggle. It has nothing to do with Will Roundtree. Will, I just changed my credit. Will, I changed my credit just from your book. Thank you, TJ. Said it's his credit changed just from reading my book. See, you get decision paralysis because you're in a financial struggle. So we need to stop lying to ourselves. This is why we stay in these ruts. I get people all the time say, Will, I've been following you 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And I'm like, in my inner voice, it's like, and so how are you in a worse situation? Or how are you in the same situation if you've been following me for 7, 8 years? Oh, you're lacking motivation. See, financial struggles will cause increased anxiety, decision paralysis, and a loss in motivation. You're losing motivation. I get it. Don't you want to be around some winners? You're losing motivation. Don't you want to be around people who uplift you? Don't you want to be around people who are going to speak life and positivity and winning back into you? Because here's something that I've learned. Winners are some of the biggest minorities on this planet because so many people are so used to losing, they talk themselves out of winning. Oh, if I do this, this ain't going to work. Oh, if I do this, what if this happened? If I do this, what if this happened? I ain't never heard nobody say, what if I go to the casino and lose? You ever heard that, Nigel? I've never heard anybody say, what if I go to the casino and lose? They say, you know what? I think today my lucky day. Oh, you know what? My palms are itching. Let me go to the casino. my eye is twitching. Let me go to the casino. I've never heard nobody say, what if I go to the casino and lose? But yet we will say, what if I try this and it doesn't work? You mean to tell me you have that little bit, you have that little belief in your abilities? We can't, but how are we going to call ourselves kings and queens and we don't move like it? That's not very king-like of you, king, to have self-doubt. That's not very queen-like of you, queen, to have self-doubt. Please send me another one, Mr. Roundtree. What you mean, Marlon? I've never heard nobody say, well, what if I go to the casino and lose? No, they say, you know what? I think today my lucky day. My palms are itching. No, you just need to shower. You just need to shower. I'm going to give you all some strategies on how to increase your odds of getting that $250,000. Look, if you haven't registered for my free webinar, go to my free webinar. Go to roundtreemasterclass.com. Go to roundtreemasterclass.com and register for my free webinar. I'm going to show you all. I'm removing all of the gatekeeping. I'm pulling out all of the stops. I'm going to show you how to get up to $250,000, $500,000 in business funding. I just told you I helped my client get $180,000 in 8 months, and it took his aunt 45 years to get $220,000. What up, Devon? Which plan you want to be on? Shout out to Jihad. Jihad, 23 years old. Jihad, how much funding have we helped you get? We have a 23-year-old inside my community who's probably gotten over $200,000 in funding. 23. But yet we have 43-year-olds who self-sabotage themselves. We have 53-year-olds who self-sabotage themselves. We have 33-year-olds. Jihad said he got $170,000 at 23 years old, and he has 6 properties. Between him, his dad, his uncle, they have like 10 doors in less than 12 months. Don't tell me it's not possible, ladies and gentlemen. You've just convinced yourself it's not possible for you. You just convinced yourself it's not possible for you. Go to roundtreemasterclass.com, register for my free webinar. I'm giving away all of the trade secrets. What if I told you, ladies and gentlemen, I have an AI software that will do all of the business funding work for you? What if I told you that I have a software that will do 99% of the heavy lifting for you to guarantee that you can get business funding to the tune of 6 figures? So now you can go and start whatever business it is you want to start. You can go and open and get into real estate. You can start that barbershop, start that group home, do all of the things that you know that's going to make you money. I'll even tell you what industries to stay away from because I know it's not going to make you any money. Let me give you all some things that you need to do in 2025 in order to increase your business bankability. Everybody type in the chat, business bankable. If you want to be business bankable in 2025, I'm going to give you 3 things that you have to do. And if you don't do it, it's going to be harder to be business bankable. Everybody type business bankable. All right, first one is legitimacy check. Legitimacy check. Banks want to see an active website. Banks want to see an active website. If you do not have a website for your business, you are not business bankable. Here's another one. If your business was established in 2019 and you build a website in 2025, that is also a lack of legitimacy. You want to backdate the website to the year the business was established. If you don't have someone who knows how to backdate the websites, then they're not the ones for you. We help people back. We can build a website and backdate it. If you need if you need a business website to have your legitimacy in check, if you need a website and you need to have the date backdated, send me a direct message and my team can build a website for you and customize you a logo. Legitimacy check. Number one, and how to become business bankable. Business bankable. Number two, brand trust. What does your online social media presence look like? Did y'all know that banks are going online looking at social media accounts? If you're not in the marijuana industry, take all them pictures off of you smoking weed. Because remember, an underwriter is a human being. It's up to their discretion. If they don't feel there's a business legitimacy or professionalism, again, we're talking about being business bankable, not just getting a credit card. We're talking about being business bankable. You want to have brand trust. Your social media online presence want to have a professional presence of some sort. I'm not saying you can't be yourself, but I went to some of you pages. For the life of me, I don't understand why we have 52-year-old men and women who take pictures with their middle fingers up. Can somebody explain that to me? I think I missed that memo. Can somebody explain to me the meaning of taking the picture and putting it on your social media with your middle fingers up at 52? I missed that memo. Can somebody, maybe I need to take a class on that. If somebody has a class on the middle finger picture for people over 40, let me know. I need to figure out where that's. People still got haters at 50. You're going to have haters all your life, but what's the point of putting up the middle finger? You need to be saying F your bank account. That's what you should be mad at. You should be mad at yourself for being 52 and having financial struggles, because it's too much money out here for us not to be in that position. That was all after 30. Somebody said because people have haters. No, you should be mad at your bank account. You should be mad at yourself. You should be mad at yourself that you keep utilizing the excuse of procrastination, or that you're scared, or that you are fearful. That's what you should be. You should be, if anything, look in the mirror and hold up the middle finger to yourself and say, you know what? I need to get my ish together. I'm failing. Maybe it stands for failing. Maybe when you put up the middle finger, that stands for failing. You're failing your family. You're failing yourself. You're failing your younger version of you. You failed everything around you. But not in 2025. 2025, we're going to make better decisions. So going back to one of the top 3 things that banks are looking for in order to be business bankable is they're looking for the brand trust. Clean up your social media. Take them pictures down with you holding up the middle finger. Trust me, nobody's hating on you. All them people who like your post don't even know you. Look, all them people who like your post don't even know you. So they're not hating on you. All right, next. What are the funding criterias? What are the funding criterias? I'm going to give you a few of them. All right, write these down. I'm going to go fast. I got about 6 minutes. So some of the funding criterias: you must have a 700 score. You must have a 700 score. There's no way around that. All banks want to see a 700 credit score. Can you get funding without that? You can, but why not be in a position to get the most optimal? And if your credit is not at a 700, get it to a 700. If you want to learn how to get to those 700s, make sure you're on my webinar this Thursday, roundtreemasterclass.com. roundtreemasterclass.com. Again, this Thursday, roundtreemasterclass.com, I'm going to be debuting my AI software that will give you the ability to be able to get unlimited credit. And I'm also going to show people how to use this software and make 5 to 6 figures in the funding industry. Desmond, how much money have we gotten you so far, Desmond? Desmond is an over-the-road truck driver. Excuse me, not over the road, but Desmond is a truck driver where he spends 22 out of 24 hours in his truck. Desmond hasn't even had to leave his truck, and we've gotten him probably over 100,000 in funding so far. Desmond has not we make this process so simple and put it on autopilot, and Desmond got a chance to preview the software. I'm going to be showing people how to use the software and go out there and make 6 figures in this funding industry. And you want to know how? Because there's an average of 430,000 businesses that open up every single month. Let me say that again. There is an average of 430,000 businesses that open every single month. And what do every last one of those businesses need? Every last one of those businesses need funding. Every last one of them. 2024, there was almost $2 trillion with the T of money that was loaned out by banks. Wouldn't you like to participate on both ends of that? Funding criteria. You need a 700 credit score. There's no way around that. Number 2, if you have more than 3 credit inquiries per bureau, you got to get them cleaned up. If you have more than 3 credit inquiries per bureau, you got to get it cleaned up. Now, I know there's an ebook that's been going around since the pandemic that you can call in and get your inquiries cleaned up in 24 hours. That does not work on accounts that are open. We are probably one of the only companies that can help you clean up your inquiries on open accounts. You can ask anybody on these lives who's went through my inquiry removal program. We're one of the best to do it. We are one of the best that offers inquiry removal because we can dispute them on open accounts. I don't see nobody else showing you or talking to you all about getting that done. As a matter of fact, I just dropped one of my new services this year where we will do unlimited inquiry removal for 12 months. And it's a flat fee. So you pay one price, you can go out there and get as many inquiries as you want throughout the year, and we will dispute them all. So go run it up. Because as a business owner, you want to go get as much funding as you want. So imagine never having to worry about inquiries ever again. We'll clean them up. And so I offer an unlimited service where you pay a one-time fee and we'll clean up your inquiries for over the course of 12 months. I can even finance that fee for you. So it doesn't even cost you everything up front. I tell people, always use the bank money. If you have an opportunity to use the bank money, always use the bank money. Desmond said around 140 and more to come. We've gotten Desmond over 140,000. We're talking less than 12 months, ladies and gentlemen. Less than 12 months. Less than 12 months. And Desmond is in his truck 20 hours a day. See, if things are difficult for you, that's because that's the route you chose in life. Things don't have to be difficult. They really don't. Things do not have to be difficult, ladies and gentlemen. So you need a 700 credit score. You got to clean up your inquiries. Next, your credit age has to be at least 3 to 5 years old. Your age of credit has to be 3 to 5 years old. So if you need age, we sell trade lines. It's not something I necessarily promote, but I just had a client today who said, Will, let me get them trade lines. We just got him started. Excuse me. Shout out to my brothers, Todd and Barkim. He was like, bro, look, I need some history. I seen what you did for my son. So we got him his trade lines. I got a $50,000 credit card that's 15 years old. Imagine putting that on your credit. Imagine adding the $50,000 credit card to your personal credit and it's 15 years old. Imagine I have a $45,000 limit. Imagine adding a $45,000 limit that's 8 years old on your credit. Can you get late payments removed? We typically don't dispute lates on open accounts just because the success rate can be lower. Now, I'll give you, you can use our templates to do them on yourself, but we don't charge people if they only have late payments on open accounts. We typically just won't touch those files. Flower Shop Boy said, let me borrow that. Absolutely. Where you want me to send the invoice? Where you want me to send the invoice? We got you. Imagine putting over 20 years of history on your credit today and then going to the bank and getting some funding. What will that do for your funding odds? Let me tell you another funding criteria. Your credit usage needs to be at under 10%. Your credit usage needs to be under 10%. So if your credit card balances are over 10%, it will impact your funding results. It will impact your funding results. It will impact your funding results. And then I'm going to give y'all a cheat code. I'm going to talk about this more on Thursday. I'm going to give y'all a cheat code. A lot of people don't know this. Did you know you can add business credit trade lines to your Experian business as well as your small business financial exchange? Most of y'all ain't never even heard of small business financial exchange. Did you know you can add trade lines to your Experian business, which is what most banks use? They don't use Dun & Bradstreet. Katina, when you filled out that credit card application for Chase, did they ask for your DMB number? Banks don't care about a DMB number. They want to know what's on your Experian business. We have trade lines that go on your Experian business report. And they stay on there forever. There is a cheat code when it comes to business credit, but most people don't even know it exists because we're too busy out there just going and getting Quill, Uline, Granger. We don't even look at Experian business. We don't even look at Equifax business. We just build in DMB, and no bank asks for a DMB number. None. Not a one. And this is why you all, or why some people get the lackluster results when it comes to fund. This is why most people will never get over $1 million in funding, because they don't know how to play the game at a high level. This is why most people will never get $1 million in funding, because they don't know how to play the game at a high level. Go to roundtreemasterclass.com. Join my free webinar. If you need to get a website with the business date backdated, shoot me a direct message. I have my team get that website built for you. If you need to get your inquiries cleaned up or you want the unlimited inquiry removal package, send me a direct message. Let's build out your profile. Let this be the year. The banks have laxed their guidelines, but you have to be in position. Lax doesn't mean they'll take anybody. It ain't no you fog a mirror and you get no, it means that if you have all of these things in place that I'm going to show you on Thursday, it is impossible for you not to get over $250,000. I have one bank that'll give you $125,000 as long as you have a 700 in a LLC that's at least 2 years old. $125,000. What would that do for your business? Katina, I got you lined up already. Will's team cleaned my inquiries. I received so many credit card and loan approvals. See, we have to start valuing the position. We don't value position. Can you say the other bureaus besides Experian Business? Small Business Financial Exchange, SBFE. Small Business Financial Exchange, SBFE. Most people have never heard of it. Guess where U.S. Bank pulls from? Small Business Financial Exchange. And guess what? Guess which bureau we put the business credit trade lines on? Small Business Financial Exchange. Wouldn't it feel good to walk into the bank knowing you got $50,000 of credit already reporting on a bureau that you've never heard of that banks are pulling from? They don't care about them the $50 you spent ordering some ink pens. How can I access your credit cleanup? Send me a direct message. I'll have somebody give you a call tonight. Send me a direct message. Lane Train _33. Send me a direct message, please. We'll get you going. I promise you, we're one of the best in the industry. You're definitely the first person I heard mention that. All y'all got to do is Google it. It's a real bureau. Small Business Financial Exchange. And that's where U.S. Bank pulls from. Did y'all know U.S. Bank is like the third largest bank in the U.S.? Wouldn't you want to have a relationship with them? Wouldn't you want to have U.S. Bank business credit card goes up to $100,000. Let me say that again. U.S. Bank business credit card goes up to $100,000. Don't y'all want to play at that level? You are the first. I never heard of that. Aren't y'all tired of going out there just getting that Sam's Club card for $10,000? That doesn't move the needle. You spend that $10,000, now you're maxed out. You can't borrow no more money. We got to stop playing at the little leagues. We're too old to be playing in the little leagues of business funding. We are too old, too mature. We come from royalty to be playing in the little leagues of business funding. Stop going out there ordering pens and pencils and toilet paper and paper towels and forks and pens. You don't need to do all of that. Let's go out here and get some real capital so you can do some real business. Let's go do some real business with some real capital. That $10,000 credit card will not move the needle much. Can you get me that U.S. Bank for $100,000? I have an 820 credit score. Bernie Madoff, send me a message. If you got an 820, we can help you. Let me put my email in the chat. If you have an 820, we can help you. That was the wave. Trust me, I know that little $10,000. Let me not say little. That $10,000 Sam's Club card, everybody want to run to that. It does not move the needle. I don't have an LLC. I plan to get it this weekend. I'm an independent carrier. Land Train, get with me because let me make sure that you to ensure that it's bank compliant. Because a lot of people get their LLC set up and it's not bank compliant. Matter of fact, go and register for my webinar, roundtreemasterclass.com. My software will guarantee that your business is always bank compliant. It pulls an API and pulls all of the data, and it will let you know what you're missing just by a push of a button. This is what my software is going to do for you. And I'm going to show you how to make money in the funding industry. I'm going to show everybody how to make money in the funding industry. And if you want to learn how to play this game, because let me leave you with this, and this is something that I learned from a very successful entrepreneur who owned a lot of businesses. And he said, Will, when you're in the industry of selling money, you will always make money. When you are in the industry of selling money, you will always make money. And this is why check cashing places, payday loans, pawn shops, this is why they will never go out of business. As a matter of fact, that's why they are in most lower economic neighborhoods, because they know that people will always need money, no matter how broke they are. They will pawn their wedding rings, they will pawn their purses, they will pawn their TV, they will pawn their rims on their car, they will pawn their PlayStation, they will pawn their necklaces. People will always want money. And so if you're in the business of selling money, you will always make money. We formed our LLC in 2018 and we closed it to switch to another state. Does that formation date change? If you closed it, yes. You didn't even have to close it. You could have just set up a foreign filing. This is why y'all need to get with me, because we're doing things that as we say, we're hustling backwards. And this is why we get lackluster results. We hustling backwards. Let's stop hustling backwards, ladies and gentlemen. So go to roundtreemasterclass.com. If you need services from us, send me a direct message. Somebody from the team will reach out to you. I might even hit you up. But let's make 2025 our best year, and let's not just say that. Let's not just say that. Look, I've lived a very good life. Definitely need those business trade lines, Will. Yeah, send a message, Desmond. I've lived a very good life. I've hit goals that, were unimaginable to me over 10, 15, 20 years ago. I've made amounts of money that one could only dream of. But I'm going to tell you, this is definitely going to be my biggest year. And the reason it is because everything is set up to play in the game that we have been unprivileged to play in. And if you're not learning, if you're not positioning yourself to learn how to play Monopoly in real life, you will continue to get what you've gotten in life thus far. So what up, Frank? I need to tap in with you this week. Hit me up, AD. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all. Y'all tap into my free webinar, roundtreemasterclass.com. Let's go out here and get it, y'all. Let's go out here and get it. Because 200,000, I'm going to show y'all how to do that with your eyes closed. I'm going to show you how to do that with your eyes closed. I got 23-year-olds out here getting 170. He don't even have enough work history. Some of y'all have been working 20 years. So that just lets you know, imagine being able to get 500,000 in funding. So I'll see y'all on the webinar that's coming up Thursday. Peace.